Hello and welcome to this week's live weekly warm-up. This week is going to be a really fun exercise that is a super fast way to play through all of your major scales. So if you're really comfortable with your major scales and you know how to figure out all the scales by the key signatures and you know all of the fingerings on all the notes for your major scales, this is a great way to work through all of the scales really quickly in whatever range of the instrument you want to do. You can do this for like just the shallow, which is what I'm going to demonstrate today, or you can do it in the full range of the instrument, which is a great challenge if you're a more advanced player as well. So I really challenge you to dig into this one if you're comfortable with your major scales already and want to sort of have this way to like play through them, get your fingers really going through all of them really quickly. So what the actual exercise is we're going to just do a really simple 1 to 5 and then back down scale pattern. But what we're going to do is we're going to start on the low E doing that in E major, and then we're going to go up chromatically through all of the keys until we get up to E flat. And at that point, we will have played every single note in the shallow register of the clarinet, and we will also have played all of the different major scale patterns for all of the keys in this first octave of the instrument. So let me go ahead and demonstrate it, and then I'll get into some more like cool things about this and some things to be focusing on as you do them. So you can see in just like that 20 seconds or so, I was able to play through all 12 major scales, just the first half of them at least, and all of the major scale patterns in the shallow, because I started on the low E and made it all the way up to B flat. So this is a super nifty exercise to really like cover all of your scales really quickly. A couple cool things about this is even though we're just doing the first half of the scale, the first 5 notes of a scale, we actually do cover all of the whole octave scale patterns, because if you think about it, the first 4 notes of say like E major, E, F sharp, G, A, those are also the last 4 notes of A major. So we're actually covering the upper half of the scales, even though we're only doing like the lower half of each scale as we go up. So we're really moving through all of the keys and a full octave of each key, even though we're just doing the first half of the octave for each one in our heads. This is only sort of good for our muscle memory because it doesn't help us to really think through the whole scale where we're like in A major and we play through all of it from the first note to the last note and play that whole octave and have our brains processing what the notes are for the whole octave. But it does get us the finger patterns for all of it because we did in fact play E, F sharp, G sharp, A in this pattern. And if you do it up more octaves, then you'll do the higher one. So that would be just as if you did like A major, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. But if you did E, F sharp, G, A, B, A, G, F sharp, E in that next octave of the 1 through 5, then you're playing exactly the same notes that you would play in A major, even though we're not thinking of it in A major. In any case, this is a great way to get through all of those. You may have noticed the pattern that I did just to like be really clear about it if you weren't able to hear it as I was going, is I started on E major, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2 in E major, and then I switched to F major because that's a half step up from E, so we're going up chromatically for each of these scale patterns. So E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, A, G sharp, F sharp. Now we're in the key of F. F, G, A, B flat, C, B flat, A, G. Now we're in the key of F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, and then so on and so forth. Always moving this pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then up a half step, up a half step, up a half step, so that we're able to like chain these scales together and move through our major scales very quickly. This would fall under the category of what I call like technique warm-ups, where we're really focusing on our finger patterns, how we're moving our fingers, making sure that our fingers are really controlled, relaxed, moving with minimal motion, and everything's super comfortable and precise. This exercise will be probably quite challenging if you aren't really comfortable with your major scales already. So if you aren't comfortable with just playing like 1 octave major scales, I would start with that before you worry about tackling this one. But if you're a more advanced player and you're really familiar with your major scales, and maybe doing something like the Clarinet scales where you have to do like the 2 octaves and go around the circle of fourths and really remember all of those, then this is a much faster version of that and still gets you through all of them. And even if you do it up like another octave, then it still gets you through all those same 2 octave notes that the Clarinet scales do. And if you do it for the full range of the instrument, then it gets a little bit trickier and starts to take a little bit more time, but it's still quite a bit faster than doing like, say, Barrymon scales in the full range of the instrument for all 12 keys. So I hope you found this helpful. This is just a super quick, super easy exercise to really move through all of those keys. I think it's going to be a fun one for you, especially if you're comfortable with your major scales. If you're not comfortable with your major scales, then I suggest that you check out the Quick Start Clarinet YouTube channel, where I have a video that goes over the circle of fifths. The title of the video is called The Mythical Circle of Fifths, and I actually have it here, which I think I can share it in the comments really quick. So I will do that. So there's the link to the Circle of Fifths, and you can check that out for more information on playing your major scales if you're less familiar with that. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching this. Good luck with doing your scales in this little quick, easy pattern to get through all of them. It's really fun, and you can really start going like quite quick with it once you get comfortable with it, and that can be fun as well. Just make sure that you're always focusing on those good technique things of having great quality of sound as you're playing, great super minimal, controlled, relaxed finger motions, and super duper steady, precise rhythm. This is a great one to do with a metronome, as are all of the technique exercises. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on the next live weekly warm-up.